All right, the New Orleans Saints, the Nolan Saints just got a double dose of good news this past weekend. And really, it's come over the last 2 weeks. But this team that was left for dead, that was way out of it. They were 2-7. The Falcons were leading the division at 6-3. All right, that is they were 4 games back. Now all of a sudden they find themselves 2 games back, just 2 games later, and I don't see any reason why that shouldn't continue. And I'm going to talk to all of you about how the Saints did it, but not only that, let's look at the schedules going forward. Let's look at why this win against the Browns was even more impressive than a win against the rival Atlanta Falcons. And I know what you're thinking, like, dude, what are you talking about? The Browns were 2-7. All right, or they were 2-7 or whatever they were going into this game. How could that game be better? It was better because of what you were able to prove without having your weapons. You were able to show something entirely different, whether that's new weapons or not, and I'm going to get into that in this video, but we're also going to go through a lot of things. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take a look at the division standings, all right? When you look right here, the NFC South is yet again, since Tom Brady has left, really even in his last year, has shown that you have a really good chance of winning the division by going 9-8. You will actually probably win the division if you go 9-8. And if you go 8-9, you actually have a chance, which is just crazy to me. But you look at this and things have gotten really, really tight. You're a half game behind the Bucs, all right, as they were sitting idle, and you are now 2 games behind the Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons just lost back-to-back in very unspectacular form. They lost to you 20-17, right, which is awesome. Congratulations on that one. But then they went out and just got the brakes blown off them by the Denver Broncos, who were 5-5. It's not like this was a world beater. I'm going to be honest with you. It was just 3 weeks ago that I was making videos about the Falcons. It's like, all right, you got the division wrapped up. Now it's just time to concentrate on getting better. I counted the Bucs out because they had so many injuries to the wide receivers. I counted, honestly, the Saints out because of the injuries to the wide receivers. But Clint Kubiak has shown that he is a good enough offensive coordinator that he can find a way against it. So here's why I'm telling you the Browns game is even more impressive. First, I'll go back to the box score against the Falcons, right? You allowed them to throw the ball a little bit, but you kept them out of the end zone more often, at least through the air. All right, they ran the ball all over the field. And that wasn't good. Then the thought process was like, all right, this is maybe a little bit of a weird game because Valdez-Scantling signed and he had 2 touchdowns on only 3 catches for 109 yards. Like, is this repeatable? All right, you got Taysom Hill involved a little bit. Maybe you wanted him to be involved a little bit more, but Alvin Kamara didn't do much. Like, this doesn't seem like it's a sustainable formula. And then you went out against the Browns. And you can say what you want about the Browns, and their defense is not good this year, but they are extremely talented on the defensive side of the ball. And you came out and you repeated the performance that you had against the Atlanta Falcons. So without having your offensive superstar weapons, at wide receiver specifically, without Alvin Kamara, look at him down here, without him going off in the running game, or quite frankly in the receiving game, your offense blitzed the Browns. And even more impressive than that, you did it in the 4th quarter where you just brought it to them. Taysom Hill was unbelievable. All right, using him as that Swiss Army knife. 8 catches for 50 yards, playing a real tight end. 7 carries for 138 yards. You can do so many things with him. All right, it's almost like addition by subtraction here. Almost like addition by subtraction. You lose Olave with that's scary, by the way, with his 5th concussion, and you bring in Taysom Hill, and all of a sudden the offense looks even better and more multiple. Marquez Valdez-Scantling repeated what he did the week before. And by the way, this isn't just an MVS thing. This was happening before MVS was signed with Rashid Shaheed. So this is a Clint Kubiak thing. This is him saying, I know how to get our speedsters open and in space. It actually kind of makes me think of, we used to have an offensive coordinator at Michigan. And if you're new to this channel, we're Lions fans. We don't We don't hide that, but we love the NFL, and especially teams that are not from these major markets, if you want to call it that, teams that aren't talked about as much. And when I look at this, what he always said, we had an offensive coordinator, and he always talked about speed and space. Clint Kubiak knows how to get his good players in space and let their athleticism go to work. Whether it's been Kamara, who's having a phenomenal season, not a career year. He's had multiple of those. But he's having another phenomenal season at age 29, enough to get a contract extension. Kubiak is utilizing him. All right, Taysom Hill, Chris Olave, whoever it might be. Rashid Shaheed was having a breakout year before he got hurt and lost for the season. Then Olave started playing better. Then he got hurt, went to IR. Bring in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. It doesn't matter who it is. Plug them in, and they're doing well. And the biggest thing about all of this, it's a new coach. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes that's all you needed. Like, I just think sometimes when you get a guy like Rizzy in there and he's fiery, and even though it looks like he got his back thrown out after the victory against the Saints by getting pushed by one of his own players, like, he is a guy who clearly knows how to motivate, and maybe that's just what this team needs in what is clearly turning out not to be a great division. So let's go ahead and let's look at the remaining schedules, starting with your Saints. All right? They have the Rams, they have the Giants, the Commanders, the Packers, the Raiders, and the Bucks. Only one division game left. They're 2-3 in the division right now. They're only playing two teams that are current playoff teams, and both of them are wild card teams. Washington is starting to look like they're coming down to earth a little bit, and Green Bay has been set in a bunch of close games. They're not beating the good teams. Those are winnable games. The Giants just benched Daniel Jones. The Raiders are an absolute dumpster fire. Let's look at the Falcons, the team that's 2 games ahead of you, right? You need to make up a couple of these. They play 1, 2, 3, not 2, but 3 current playoff teams. All right, now, yes, all 3 are wild card teams, but the Chargers, like, they proved how good they were just last night, taking out the Bengals. The Minnesota Vikings keep winning, and you both have the Commanders. All right, and again, they're going to Washington. All right, you have Washington at home. Now let's look at the Bucks. Maybe they get Mike Evans back. All right, but look at how many road games they have. They're just coming off their bye. Yes, they get New York, Carolina, Vegas, and they're probably going to win those 3 games. That's very likely. I get it. But then they get the charge. They have to go to LA. They go to Dallas, and then it's you. Like, there is a real world of possibility where this game, where you are going into Tampa, that it is for the division. It's real. And I know what you're thinking, like, well, what about the Falcons? Like, they're doing really well, and by well, I mean they have the best record. They're 6-5. It's a facade. Look, you have you might be 4-7, but you actually have 2 points more scored than allowed. The Buccaneers have 13 more points scored than allowed, where the Falcons have 30 less points scored than allowed. And part of that is because they just got beat by like 30 or 35. Keep watching Saints football. There's a chance that this is the crazy comeback from 2-7 and one of those situations where Riz just coaches his butt off and they say, you know what, maybe this is our guy for the future. I don't know. All right. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Hey, again, if you want to support this channel, hit that like button. Definitely hit that subscribe button for more Saints content and other teams around the NFL. Thanks for watching. Hopefully see you on the next one.